This is Trevor Benko, CEO of TGB Supplements.
And this is Ben Jordan, CEO of TGB Supplements.
Today we're going to do a video talking about something that we deal with on a daily basis pretty much. It's teenage anabolic androgenic steroid use and reasons why they should not be using the steroids. And there's a lot of potential supplements they could use to replace them and get similar results without the side effects. So that's what we're going to get into discussing today. You want to get started?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, you're playing with fire, tampering with your hormones. I don't believe the endocrine system's fully developed anywhere from 21 to 25. So, I mean, within that period of time, you're taking the risk of completely destroying your hormonal production, and you might end up having to get on testosterone replacement for the rest of your life.
At a very young age, and that might sound like not such a big deal. We've had guys come in that were 17 years old. Oh, that sounds great. I have to use testosterone for the rest of my life. But they're not thinking, they're not taking into consideration the fact that you have to do an injection every week for the rest of your life. I mean, that's a lot of injections. And one of the biggest things is you may never have children. You know, if you start using steroids at a young age, fertility is definitely going to become an issue. You know, and when you're a teenager, 18, 19, 20, you might not think that you need to have children, or you may not want to have children. But who's to say 5 years down the road you might not, you might meet the woman of your dreams and want to have kids and have a family, and you may not be able to do so.
Yeah, very short-term mind state for sure.
Yeah, I mean, most of the guys that want to use steroids, they're just getting into working out. Maybe they play sports, you know, and they feel like they need an edge or an advantage to compete. And the reality is there is no free ride. If you want to go down that road, you're going to have to pay the consequences. You're going to have to pay the toll. So
yeah, there's no get big quick magic pill or magic injection. It's not going to work. You could be sitting here on this couch just like us. You could take grams of anabolics like Mr. Olympia. If you're not out there training or your diet's not on point, you're not going to gain hardly at all.
No, I mean we've seen it firsthand countless times. You know,
lazy.
Yeah, I mean it's just. Honestly, it's disgusting. It's very frustrating. It's frustrating for me because, you know, I started training at such a young age, and I've been training for over 17 years now. So to see a young guy that hasn't been in the gym for even a year wanting to take steroids because they can't put on size, it just, you know, it's very frustrating to me. And not only that, but it's bad for the steroid community in general, because it looks bad on, you know, steroids. I mean, it makes steroids look bad because they're not something that they're demonized in the media already. And, you know, a lot of the reason is because of these young guys that shouldn't be using them in the first place, using them and abusing them and not knowing what they're doing. And you know, they end up having problems. They have side effects. You know, and then they act like they don't know why.
Yeah.
Why they have you know, gynecomastia. When they were using 50 milligrams of D-ball a day, no, let alone with their natural testosterone.
Yeah,
you know?
They got acne so rampant that they end up having to get something pharmaceutical to take care of it.
You know, we've had guys come in that were 18 years old, just come off a cycle, and, you know, have gynecomastia, have acne that's horrible, and have almost no testosterone, no sex drive at 18 years old, 19 years old. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, if you're a younger guy and I need to get big quick, you need to eat.
Yeah, you need calories. That's what you need. Without the calories, you're not going to grow. And, you know, we'll tell guys that, and they'll say, oh, well, I eat all the time. I eat every day. You know, I eat 6, 7 meals a day. I'm doing everything I can. But have they ever tracked their calories? Guaranteed, every time they track their calories, it's nowhere near.
They'll be eating a half a dozen peanut butter jelly sandwiches or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually track the calories that you're taking in, you're probably nowhere near where you think you are. I mean, I've had it happen to myself. You know, most people are lacking essential fatty acids, which is where most of the calories come from. There's 9 calories per gram. With carbs and protein, there's only 4. So if you're not getting enough fats, there's no way you could even come close to hitting enough calories to grow.
Honestly, there's really no reason for a guy 18, 19 to probably even be looking at that for an anabolic usage. Unless you're somebody, say, like a Lee Priest case that you've been training since you're 12 and you're destined to be a bodybuilder, and you need that step.
Or you have a medicinal, you know, reason, which
Something
is very
clinical.
rare. I mean, honestly, even in that case with a young guy that wants to be a bodybuilder, that's not a reason in my mind, you know, just because you still have plenty of years of growth left. You know, there's no possible way, even if you started at 12 like I did, or like Lee Priest, maybe even earlier than that, you know, you're still not going to be maxed out by the time you're 18 years old. It's just not going to happen. You know, it's just my personal experience. I maxed out around 23 years old after training from 12 years old, and even then, I probably still could have went a little further had I known what I know now as far as diet, nutrition, and everything. And there were supplements out there that I wasn't aware of. But you know, at the time I was trying, you know, a lot of supplements, and you know, I had felt like I really had maxed myself out. I trained a whole year, didn't gain any weight, didn't get any stronger, but I kept grinding, kept training, and you know, I felt like I was at a plateau. So I went and had blood work done to get a baseline where my testosterone was, and it ended up coming back in the 400s, which I thought was pretty low for my age, and could have been the reason why I was stuck. So then I kind of pursued that a little bit, and eventually started, you know, I had been reading about anabolic steroids since I was probably about 16, 17 years old. It was always something that interested me, and I knew it was a part of bodybuilding, but I wasn't ready to go there without, you know, being prepared. I felt like I had put so much time and effort into building my physique, and I have an addictive personality in the first place. I figured that if I would use steroids at a young age, yeah, I would gain quick, but then afterwards, then what happens? With my personality, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to stop, that I would want to continue, and if I did stop and I started going backwards in the gym, then my one positive thing that kept me out of trouble and kept me on the right path would be lost. And you know, I didn't want to risk that, and thank God I didn't at the time, because who knows what would have happened. I might not be here today. So you know, that's why it's so important that you maximize what you have naturally. Not only that, but in the end, you're going to end up going a lot further. You know, I know myself. I know guys using way more than I've ever even touched. You know, and they're not as strong as I am. You know, or they don't even look the way I look. So I'm not saying that I'm built like a professional bodybuilder or anything, but for the amount of stuff they're using compared to what I need to use, it's a whole different world.
And that's what gives the people that do put the work in and the diet and the time a bad name, because they automatically look at a guy, this guy's built better than me, or this guy's getting leaner quicker than what I would, or this guy's growing faster than what I would. They're automatically going to associate that guy with using more stuff. Yeah,
automatically. I mean, even in high school for myself, people were saying that I was using steroids then, and I never did. You know, it's just not something I wanted to do. I may have experimented with illegal drugs, but I wasn't using steroids. You know, it just wasn't my thing. I didn't want to risk that. That was the one thing I had put so much work and time into. Like I said, I didn't want to just end up using them and not knowing what I was doing and throw it all away or mess myself up. So you know, it's just very important to get the most out of what you have naturally first. And in the end, I think you're going to end up going a lot further. You're going to have more muscle cells, which means more androgen receptors for the androgens to activate when you do take the steroids, if you decide to go down that road. I mean, just...
Well, not only that, if they got their diet and their training on point, they'll get more out of their anabolic usage.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, well, just like if you're overweight and you take steroids, you know, you got a lot more... a higher chance that the fat cells are going to cause aromatization, and you're going to have more estradiol. So, you know, there's a lot of negatives to using steroids early, and I can't think of very many positives other than that quick, you know, gain, which you could have gotten just from putting in the extra time.
And not only that, they wouldn't really know how to manage the side effects.
No, you're not going to be educated enough to manage the side effects. I mean, this is anabolic steroid.
It's serious.
Yeah, I mean, there's some serious chemistry and biology that you have to be able to understand, or at least have some type of understanding of, you know, to even come close to using a cycle properly. And even then, you know, there's no set way of what's right and what's wrong, but there are things that you're supposed to do. You know, there are certain things that you know, like for example, using an aromatase inhibitor if you're on an androgen cycle. You know, aromatizable androgen cycle like testosterone, or anything that is testosterone based, because you're going to have estrogenic side effects.
Yeah, there's a base for everybody, but everybody's going to be different. We all have slight variances in enzymes that we produce. I might have more of an enzyme than Trevor does, so my body's going to react a little bit differently to each compound than Trevor would. So, like I was saying, there's a base for everything. You're going to have to tailor it for whatever you need.
Yeah, and another thing, you know, when you do use steroids at such a young age, you're permanently preventing your testosterone from ever reaching its peak. So that means when you come off of that cycle, your levels are never going to go up to the potential peak that they could have, because you've never reached that peak yet. You're too young. So, you know, they're never going to get there. So you're going to lose out on tons of muscle gains, natural muscle gains, which is going to cost you a lot of money if you do go down that road. or it's going to cause you a lot of health consequences. Either way, you're going to pay the price, and you're going to lose out. You're going to lose out on your potential. We know guys that have started taking steroids at 17, 18 years old, and now they're in their mid-20s and they're still using them. And the doses have gone up and up and up, and now they're using insulin, now they're using growth hormone, peptides, all this crazy stuff, and they don't look any better than they did when they were like 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, and most of the guys that do start it early, they get out of it early and they look bad. You know what I mean? They hold a lot. They hold a lot of fat. They stop training. They get depressed. They just don't care anymore because they think that is needed to keep going. They won't look good without it.
A lot of guys can't even work out without being on a cycle. When they start young like that, they just don't have that mental strength, and that's why they're looking for that advantage in the first place. A lot of times, they don't have the mental strength to put in the work, put in the time, and grind it out. And they just don't have that mental toughness. And that's why they're looking for that advantage. And for the guys out there that are young and are doing it the right way, and you see a guy that's taking steroids, he may pass you up temporarily. But a lot of that's water retention and glycogen. It's not going to be permanent. And the difference in your muscle density and strength it's going to be a lot higher than a guy that's using anabolic steroids. So yeah, they may pass you up temporarily, but in the end, your endurance, your hard work, it's going to pay off, and you're going to end up prevailing over them. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, so there is some alternative for guys that are younger that we kind of recommend. You do get a boost in protein synthesis out of them, which is what anabolic steroids do. Not to that same magnitude, but it will give you a boost in repartitioning your nutrients. Plus, we're all in our head, if we're taking something, we'll push a little bit harder in the gym. So, that can give them a little bit of aid as well. Yeah,
a little bit of a placebo effect. Some of these supplements we're going to get into here, they definitely have their advantage. Whether, even for guys that are using anabolics, these are things that could be used to get a little bit more out of your nutritional, your food, your supplements in general.
Yeah, females can even take them as well.
Yeah, my girlfriend is even using one of these, and she's one of the strongest women I've ever seen. And she's using one of these natural products and has had no side effects whatsoever, just positive results, and feels good.
Yeah, and there's no shutdown, no suppression with them.
You don't have to stay on.
They don't tamper on any hormonal profile. You can take it year round if you like. I could have my grandfather take it, or my sister who's 14.
Yep. All right, so getting started here, we're going to go into the first one, which is the one that, like I was saying, my girlfriend is using. Iron Force Nutrition Most Wanted. I've personally used this product myself. I started out 2 capsules a day. I ran that for 4 weeks. I ended up, now you want to take this with high protein meals, by the way. So I used to take it, one with my protein shake after I work out, and one with a high protein meal throughout the day. That's the way I started. And I did that for 4 weeks, 2 capsules a day. I ended up putting on 2 pounds in 4 weeks. Now for me, that's pretty good, for being where I'm at and only using this product. I was pretty happy. I ended up bumping it up to 4 capsules a day, and I ran that for another 2 weeks, so 6 weeks total I used it. In that 2 weeks I put on 4 pounds, so 6 pounds altogether in 6 weeks. Some of that may have been a little bit of glycogen, but overall the biggest thing I noticed was my strength went up a little bit. My muscle recovery, I didn't get as sore. I could train longer, I could train more frequently without getting extreme muscle soreness like I normally would. If I go in and kill my legs the next 2 days, I'm barely able to walk. With this, I'd be a little tight, but I feel like they'd heal up a lot faster. Now this has 5-alpha hydroxylaxogenin and 20-beta-ecdysterone. They're cyclodextrin complexed, which increases the delivery. The cyclodextrin complexion is a 7-ring sugar molecule that's water-soluble on the outside and fat-soluble on the inside. So these are plant steroids, so they're fat-soluble, fat-based. So that allows it to carry it through the stomach and the small intestines and into your system, kind of bypassing the liver, helping increase the absorption. It makes a huge difference. I've taken regular laxogenin products, and they're not even close to Most Wanted.
Yep, the same for me. And the Most Wanted works just like a steroid does, like Trevor was saying. It increases your nitrogen retention and your turnover of protein synthesis, so you can train quicker.
Yeah, I'd compare it to like a low dose of Anavar or a mild pro-hormone without any side effects whatsoever, and it actually has some health benefits. It boosts your immune system, helps your body repair itself. Overall, I mean, help with inflammation. I think it's a quality product that really produces results. And just putting it out there, we haven't announced this anywhere yet, but we do have a new version coming. We're going to probably have the exclusive pre-sale on it, I believe. It's going to be the Most Wanted Black series. They got 2 new ingredients. We're not going to say the ingredients yet, but within the next, I'd say 1 to 2 weeks, we should have that pre-sale up available on our website. And also, we're going to continue with the original formula. We'll have it up on the site, and we're probably going to have it on sale as well. So keep a lookout for the Black Friday sales coming. But overall, I think this is my favorite natural anabolic. It really works well.
It's the most popular one that we sell in store. We probably sell 75% of Most Wanted over every other natural anabolic in the shop.
And I don't think we've ever had one bad review on Most Wanted. I mean, the price is a little bit high. That's probably the only complaint. But everybody that tries it, they think it's worth it. And I agree. I really do.
Okay, next one we have the Olympus Labs Derma Strength Unleashed. Now, this is a transdermal formula of the laxogenin. How I kind of relate it to people what laxogenin does, and this isn't exact, but say I'm using a laxogenin product and 75% of the nutrients that I take in throughout the day I utilize for growth and repair. The other 25 gets excreted. Somebody who's not taking it, they only might be utilizing 50% of the nutrients that they take in throughout the day. So they get a lot more out of the food that they take in from the repartitioning of the nutrients. I kind of like the Derma Strength too to stack well with the Most Wanted because the transdermals give you more of an extended feed.
Yeah, and it also, like Ben said, it stacks very well with Most Wanted. You really can't take, I would say, too much. You don't want to go crazy, but I don't think it's possible. The toxicity-wise, they're so mild. I don't think it's possible to take too much.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a ceiling with laxogenin, but I'd say there'd probably be a strong trend of drop-off from a certain milligram.
Yeah, you're probably going to, get effective, like a diminishing return at some point.
Yeah, and with like the Most Wanted, you're going to get a higher plasma level. It's going to spike up, peak up higher in your bloodstream, so that one would be more beneficial around, say, your workout or
Definitely.
Before bed. And say you could do the Derma Strength first thing in the morning, and it would carry you throughout the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that combination.
Yeah, this is another really popular one too.
Yep. And another product very similar to this, in fact, I think I like the carrier even better, is the Iron Legion Vidius.
Yep.
Vidius or Vadius, however you want to say it. I love that product. I even like the smell. Some people might not, but I do kind of like the way it smells. It's more of an oil, and I like to put it on my neck, and it just seems to sit and stay there a little longer. I think you get a little more prolonged release.
Yeah, it smells like the Dienazone or Trenazone from you old pro-hormone guys from the band recently.
Yeah, from Antheus Labs or from Iron Legion.
Okay.
All right, next, this is EPG Laxosome. This is a very similar product. It has the 5-alpha hydroxylaxogenin again. It's dosed at 100 milligrams. This is a
sublingual tab.
It's a sublingual tab with the liposomal delivery. So I believe that's cyclodextrin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cyclodextrin complex, similar to what the Most Wanted is, just a little lower dose. Now that's per 2 tablets, 100 milligrams. Now that's counting the cyclodextrin. So you're not getting a full 100 milligrams of laxogenin. With that being said, I think it's a very good product. Works well.
Just a little underdosed.
Little
sure.
underdosed for what we like, but it does work very well. I just think the Most Wanted, you get a little bit more for your, little more bang for your buck. Plus, it has another ingredient, and they're pretty close price point wise. So this is a little bit cheaper if you just wanted to try the Laxosome. There's also a product.
The Lax Ultra.
Yeah, from Iron Force Nutrition.
It's 200 milligrams a cap.
Yeah, that's another product. Very similar to this. So if you just want to give one of the ingredients a try, it's a good product for that. I do like the tablets, the way they dissolve.
Yeah, they are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alright, next up we have the X-Gels from SNS. Now this one, it's different. Most of the natural anabolics, they're anti-inflammatory.
Mm-hmm.
X-Gels is pro-inflammatory. This is arachidonic acid. What this does is, I call it the beginner blues, how I relate it to everybody whenever they come in. Whenever you first start training, you get debilitatingly sore. You stupid palms, cramped up. You get DOMs the next 3 days, you can hardly move. this is kind of what the X gels does. It kind of resets your muscle cells to where you get that type of soreness again.
Like your training sensitivity,
Right,
pretty much.
yeah, it increases your sensitivity to the training. It helps you tap into more muscle fibers so you can break down the fiber more efficiently.
And now this is something, arachidonic acid was something that William Llewellyn actually came out with, and I believe he has a product from, was that Molecular Nutrition?
Yep, X Factor.
X Factor and X Factor Advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Both very good products, very similar. I think they're dosed very similar too, right?
Yeah, he has a standardized. It's called Arison. It's a 45% extract. Nobody else can make it that high. I think the others are 40%.
Yeah, I think
so they're pretty
that's
close.
trademarked.
Mm-hmm.
So, very good product. And if you're a fan of William Llewellyn like I am, I have all his books. If you check out his book, there's actually a section in there talking about arachidonic acid. So it goes into deep detail about how it works, what it does, the different pathways that it hits. But
yeah, this provides a pretty pronounced like vasodilatory effect too. Just from all the inflammation, you get really crazy pumps off of it. Now, say you were stacking something like the Most Wanted or a Laxogenin product with the X gels. This you have to dose it pre-workout, like 45 minutes before on an empty stomach. With this being pro-inflammatory, obviously we don't want any anti-inflammatory compounds in our body at the same time because it's going to mitigate what this is trying to do. So say you're using a fish oil, an omega-3 product or your Most Wanted, you would want to take that before bed or first thing in the morning, 6 to 8 hours away from the X gels if you could to get the most out of it.
definitely. All right, next, one of my favorites, Folodrone 2.0. This is from Blackline Research. This is a very, very good natural anabolic. It works very well. I consider this more of a performance-based product myself. It's got the epicatchin in there. It's a proprietary blend. Let's see here.
The E-Kava.
What is that? The
the Eclonia Kava.
Eclonia Kava extract. It's got the epicatchin. I think this is that a seaweed extract?
The Floscarthami, yep. That's seaweed extract.
Yep.
And
Citrus. Yeah, it's got the citrus bioflavonoids, which is naringin, tangeritin,
yeah.
quercetin, niacin.
Out of the citrus.
This is interesting. The quercetin, niacin, co-crystals.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting. And octogalate.
Yep.
Is a very, very unique product. The owner of Blackline Research was the first person to come out with the epicatchin. And when he came out with that, it was unbelievable. I mean, people loved it. It was one of the first products to come out in a while, kind of really changed things, and there's been countless companies since then that have made knockoffs of the original Folodrone. So, the owner came up, he took some time and came up with an updated, revised formula that make it even absorb better and work more efficiently. And that's what we have here with the Folodrone 2.0. In fact, when this came out, we were the first company to have it for sale. We had the pre-sale. We sold a ton of it. Like I said, this is more of a performance-based product, and the reason I say that is it increases your endurance, and it helps with your explosive output.
Yeah, huge boost in oxygen efficiency, it seems like, with guys. So I would call it a indirect effect that you would tear into more muscle fibers. So if you're able to do more volume and workload in the gym, you're going to be tearing into more muscle fibers. So and it hits pretty quick too, the oxygen efficiency.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that goes very well with like a Most Wanted, because you're going to tear more down, and a product like Most Wanted is going to actually help you repair it and help heal yourself up. So together, that's probably the number one recommended natural anabolic stack that we would recommend.
Yeah, I mean, for a 1-2 punch, that's really hard to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've seen anything work as well as that naturally. So, I mean, that pretty much covers all the natural anabolics we had to go over today. Anything you could think of other than that?
Phosphatidic acid's another one.
That is another one.
The Cutler King and the Olympus Labs Triumph, which is in a powdered form.
Mm-hmm.
That one's really good for loading glycogen as well. So if you're, say, flat or depleted or doing a low-carb diet, that can help keep your muscles full. So kind of like a creatine type effect, and your muscle cells, think of it like a rubber band. The more tension you apply on it, the faster it's going to contract back. That's why powerlifters are kind of watery, because they got all that intracellular water retention. So it's strength. It's a temporary strength increase. But that temporary strength increase is going to allow you to tear into more muscle fiber.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to take a phosphatidic acid product, say Most Wanted, which has the ecdysterone and the 5-alpha-hydroxylaxogenin, and the Folodrone 2.0, I mean, I don't think there's much more you can do. If you add your basics, you got your creatine,
creatine, maybe a little
protein,
bit of betaine for some cell volume.
Now, those are some things we didn't go over. Those are more basic. But creatine's a proven muscle builder. It definitely works. Just has to be utilized properly. And the way that I would recommend doing that is, if let's say you're a 200-pound man, I would take 20 grams of creatine per day. I would do that for 6 weeks. So I would do 10 pre-workout, 10 post-workout, and I would do that for 6 weeks at a time, and then take 4 weeks off, and then repeat. You got to make sure you stay very hydrated, but at those doses, you get a much more efficient effect. And from what I've seen in studies that they've done, they say that if you only do the 5-gram maintenance dose, that after a couple weeks, your muscle creatine levels go back to baseline.
Well, that's why when everybody does a loading phase, they feel it. Oh
Yep.
man, this stuff's
Really
kicking.
getting results.
And then they go down their 5 gram, and it's this shit's not quite working like it used to. Well, it's because your cells desaturated back down to that 5 grams.
Yeah. And it's not like this is all there is what we're saying. There's other stuff. There, there's the amino acids. There's glutamine. There's different types of glutamine. There's things that increase insulin sensitivity, which can be very useful for young guys. There's even appetite enhancers now that work amazing. Like we said in the beginning, the most important thing to grow is to take in enough calories. And like we said, 90% of the time, when guys think they're taking enough, they're not.
Yep.
So track it with an app like MyFitnessPal and see for yourself how many calories you're taking in. You should have at least 20 to 25 calories per gram if you're a hard gainer.
Yep.
I'm sorry, 20 to 25 calories per pound. So
Yeah, say 200-pound male, you're looking at 5,000 calories.
Yeah, so I mean that's a good baseline, and if you're doing those things,
if you can't grow on 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who you are.
Definitely. And another thing, you can always work on your training program. Don't be afraid to take advice or tips from somebody else. See what's out there. Try different things. But that pretty much covers it. For the young guys out there, stay away from steroids. Take the time. Do the research. Use the time when you're young to research if that's something you're interested in. Do the research. Take a couple years, read about them, see if it's really something you want to do before you go and take that plunge, because you may not. It's something you can almost not go back on. It's going to take you past where you can go naturally, and once you do that, you can't really go back.
Yeah, there's a very high risk versus reward there.
Yeah, so it's something to really consider, and we always recommend to stay away from it. And when you are old enough, let's say if you're 23, 25 years old, and you think you want to go down that road, we always recommend to get blood work first to see where your baseline is. That way you know where you were before you ever took anything. But in general, we definitely recommend staying away from it until you're of age to make the proper decision on your own. And these are the products that we recommend. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email us, contact us.
Yeah, give us a call if any of you young guys think about want to try to set up a natural stack.
Yeah.
We can set you up the most synergistic stack where you can get the most out of it for
Yeah.
sure.
If you need help, don't be afraid to reach out to us. We want to help you. That's what we're here for. And we'd much rather have you give us a call and take our time, and talk to us.
Yeah, don't be afraid. We get this stuff every day. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what some people, they're like, is it all right if I talk to you? It's like, yeah, man, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, it's what we do. So don't think you can't call us directly and literally speak with us, and we'll set you up something that we'll give you results. You don't have to turn to steroids. Take the time to do the research. So that pretty much covers it. And subscribe to our channel. We have more videos coming. Keep an eye out for Anabolic Cartel Podcast. I'd say another week or so. It'll be on on iTunes, SoundCloud, and so on. And we also got the forum we're working on, so it won't be long. If you guys need anything, reach out to us, and we'll be talking to you soon.